Hello good people, welcome back. Been away for a little bit, come back. Have done a bit of videoing, more so on the body panels at work. I don't know, all the near side panels from the wing to the back wing have all been initially repaired and in a coat of primer. And you'd think, right, off to the body shop. Well, guess what? I am the body shop. So when I get the panels, I'd look at them and go, okay, not quite ready for paintwork. And this will be the process, if you like, that a body shop might go through. Everyone does it all a bit different, but this is basically what happens to get a door that you think is okay, up to an acceptable standard, shall we say. So I'm just taking you through that process. So that's the main bulk of this video. In the interim, however, the infamous D-post that's been causing me so much grief of late, and it's been putting me off and putting me off doing it and doing it and doing it, has had some work on it. And I quite fancied TIG welding, and I booked myself on a course to do some TIG welding, and I went down to the machine shop and see Irish Bob. Now if you don't know, Irish Bob has got his own YouTube channel, The Machine Shop. He also does some work for a guy called Matt Armstrong, which a lot of you should or should not know, that repairs all the Lamborghinis, Ferraris, you name it, Aston Martins that have been damaged. And through that, Bob has done some welding for Matt Armstrong, and it's amazing. So I went down to the machine shop and did a 4-hour TIG welding course, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to pop my D-post down to him and see what he can do. So what we've ended up doing, or asking Bob to do, is graft basically the new D-post that arrived from Wadham's that just cannot use. It's the wrong thickness, it's just totally out of shape. So I said, look, can you use the good bits off of this and graft them onto the original D-post? And I took it all down, prepped it all for him, paint stripped it all for him, so literally just had to cut and weld, and he left it with him. So whilst that was been going on, I've been doing these body panels, as I said, paintwork wise. So the next video hopefully will be the D-post and getting it on as well, getting it back, getting all the inside welded up, which was missing, if you remember rightly. Hardly any of it there, so we've got to rebuild it back up, and then hopefully we can get it on. So that'll be the next video, so that'll be quite interesting. Thanks to some of the subscribers that have given me words of encouragement. I was wondering whether to knock the YouTube videoing on the head, because it does take a lot of time, and there were some subscribers that went, you should carry on, you should carry on, you've got 600 odd subscribers, and yeah, fair play. Gave me a bit of encouragement to carry on, so fair play to them, they know who they are. So without further ado, we're going to crack on and enjoy the video on the paint, and then next video, which shouldn't be too long, would be the D-post. So enjoy. Okay, what I'm going to do here is just give this a guide coat. You can use anything. When it goes off to your paint shop, this is probably what they're going to be doing, or should be doing. It will show us any high spots, low spots, we can take care of. You can use an aerosol can, matte black or satin black, whatever you want. I've used it before, anything that you can get your hands on really. So it's all, I'm just going to be rubbing it down, I think with a 240. This isn't the final coat of epoxy primer. I'm probably going to go over with a high build primer again. This is just going to highlight for me where the imperfections in the bodywork lie, if you like. I'm expecting a few, although it looks quite a nice panel, I'm sure it's not. And I'm also expecting here, down this edge, that it's been tapped over, it's been knocked a few times and it's just gone down there. But what we're going to do is just follow this line across and off, and we'll highlight this. I think there's going to be a bit of a low there, paper. This is the area that we did repair. Yeah, I think we had a bit of a side swipe. Yeah, so we've done the bulk of the repair. Yeah, this is just a dry guide coat black. It is a bit messy, I'm not going to lie. It's better to wear some gloves because it's once it gets onto something, it sticks like something to the blanket. So we'll see in a minute. We're just going to get like a long block, if you like, or it's all I've got at the moment. See what happens. Okay. That'll do. Okay, just got myself a long block, and we're going to basically work our way across the panel like this, and then once we've come across, we're also going to go in this direction as well, and it will just start to show any low spots, any high spots. You can go across the way. I think you can see actually. This dark area here where the block hasn't touched, so we've got a nice low area there and there. A little bit of a run down this edge, but that will come out. Again, low spot, low across here. All these little dark areas, big one there. That bit that I did say was going to be low, and a little bit on this corner. Again, probably where this corner where they open the door and it just gets knocked back a bit. So what I might do is just try and hammer and dolly this bit up rather than just complete filler it. I'll go and try that in a minute and just see if they'll come up with a bit of a hammer and a dolly. I'll go get that in a minute. It gives me a pretty good idea where all the high and low spots are. Haven't gone through anywhere, it was only a very light rub. If I go through and start to see some metal, that'll be a high spot that needs to be addressed, brought down. At the moment we've just got low spots. Now there is quite a lot of primer, it's a primer. 2-pack epoxy high build primer. So I can go rubbing it down quite a lot. And I would imagine we could get rid of all of this, no problem, just by blocking it. So I'm really interested in these areas just here. They might come out. I'll do a little bit. I barely touched it really, but no effort behind this little bit of sanding at all, just to show me what's going on. So I think I'll do the same with the top there, see how that comes out. Yeah, and again I might try tapping that up, this edge, rather than just fill it. Sort that out in a minute and see about this little bit here. Again we're just going to cross hatch it, see what we're into. Right then, again, as you can see, we've got a low spot there. Low spot there, but I think that's going to come out. I've barely touched it with barely gone into the primer at all, which appears to be a bit of a low here. It's just starting to come out, so I can go a lot more, but as I said earlier, as soon as I start hitting a bit of metal, right, you know, you're probably like getting down to the skin itself. I would stop. That would be as far as I would go, and then I'll deal with the repair. Now we can put filler straight on top of this epoxy, no problem. You can do it either way around. And some people say, oh no, you've got to put body filler on top of bare metal, which is what we used to do in the old days, if you like. New materials, etc. We're now putting filler on top of the epoxy primer, no problem at all. The only thing you have to make sure you do is whatever you do, whether it's just bare metal or primer, you key it up, scratch it up so the filler can stick to it. So we'll just go around Might hammer and dolly a couple of these little bits on the edges just to see what we can get out without filler, if we can get away with it. It won't take a lot. Again, there's a nice old low all the way down there, and a couple of other bits. So we barely touched it. I'm going to leave this bit now, this curve, because I haven't got the right tool for it. So I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be cross-hatching it, but with a smaller sander, which I haven't got with me at the moment, so I can deal with that later. Not sure. But on the whole, it doesn't look too bad. What seemed to be a really good panel, and it just feels fine. And then we just get these blows. So we deal with that. Right, I'm just going to get a hammer and dolly and see if we can't have a little play with these bits. Right, I've just checked these bits here with a straight edge across there, and it's a good millimetre low on this edge and there. So I'm going to try and tap that up. Like I said, that looks okay. That should come out. And these low spots, and that's about a millimetre as well. So I'll get that. Yeah, same there. So we'll give it a go and see what we can get out. Right, it's getting better. That's down to just that little bit there. I'll take a bit more out of here. That one's all but out. I'm just starting to go through on that edge now. We're going to stop, not going to go any further. So we're going to reprime that and get away without filler. Needs a bit in there. We're just starting to touch this edge now, which is a good thing. So we've still got a little hollow in there and we're just starting to break through there. I don't know if you can see it. So again, we're going to call it a day on that. A couple of little low spots here. I'll see if I can just raise these up a little bit. One there, one there, one there. A little one there. That corner's come out, and this is almost there now. But I think we're just starting to break through there on the edge. So we just stop it there. That corner's come out alright, just in primer alone, so that's fine. So we're doing alright, just by rubbing down the filler primer. I'm not going to need huge amounts of filler in this, just going to be a little glaze, and we should catch it all. So, there you go. Right, I'm just going to go over with some guide coat. These bits here that you've noticed are just what we call stopper. It's just a one pack acrylic that you can put in. Although these edges came up when we hammer and dollied it, the edges came up okay. Just left a tiny little hollow there and there. So we can use stopper rather than filler. So we can flat these down. They're not fully dry yet, but we'll flat them down and then we'll primer over them and it should fix these two little problems. Another little bit up there, didn't really matter too much, it's behind the moulding, but I did it anyway. So I'm just going to do a guide coat on here. You've seen it before, those that haven't seen it. You can use, I've said this before, you can use spray paints to do this, like a matte black or a satin black. This is okay, I don't mind using it. It's a little bit messy, I don't mind using it though. So we'll rub this down the same as we did earlier and see where we are with it. See if we've got any more high or low spots to deal with. In theory, we should not be a million miles away from being a large flat panel. Well then, see what happens. that's very, very, very light going over. I put no effort behind that, and we can see that we're literally touching best part of all of that door now. These little bits, again, we're just starting to come through there, so they're going to, a bit more rubbing down, these are going to disappear. So all in all, I think we've attended, even this isn't too bad now. Got tiny one there, but that's going to come out with a bit more sanding. On the whole, that panel in theory now should be pretty flat, or acceptable, shall we say. We're not entering it in a concourse competition by any stretch. But that's nice and flat, and I'll just go and knock that bit down and see where we are with that. Give this stopper a bit of time to go off, and then we'll give it a good flat down and see where we are at the end of it. Right, again, very, very light over that. Tiny little low there, but that's going to come out. A bit more blocking, and that's going to disappear. We're already starting to touch it now with the sanding block. It's already starting to get there. So, and there's plenty of filler primer on here, so we should be able to get rid of that. Tiny little one there, again we're starting to cut through, so that should in theory disappear. That bit there is because of that bit of stopper, just keeping it up. I'm quite happy with that. Like I say, these aren't quite dry yet, just going to give them another half an hour or so just to flash off, and then you give it a good rub down and see where we are with that. I won't bother filming it. I'll show you the end result. You can see where we are with this panel. Yeah. Right, that's pretty much got all of that. There's a tiny little low there. I'll put some stopper in there. It's so slight. Yeah, I'm going to check it in a minute with a bit of wax and grease remover. Just coat it all wet and then we can sort of have a look, see where we're at. That's come out alright. Yeah, so we'll put that aside. Got one more coat of primer, and then key that up and that'll be ready for some paint. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I'm just going to coat it with some wax and grease remover, just soak the panel, and then I'm going to have a little look to see if there's any ripples or anything in it. Just give it a good old soaking, just let it settle, and then have a little glance down it, and see how flat we are. At the moment, yeah, looking pretty good. If you can see that. Get down there. Probably can't see it like I can see it. There you go. That's pretty straight. You can see that. It's looking good. Okay, this is top bit. That looks pretty cool. All quite nice. And if you want to be really critical, there's a little bit of a ripple there, just around there, which I'll sort out with some more stopper in there. It's just a little low spot around there, but yeah, quite happy with that. Nice straight panel.